Ladies and gentlemen, Brian, switch me over the other side. There we go. Thank you all for being here. What day is it? Thursday morning. Also, almost said Monday there. Caio Borralho joins us, of course. Caio, how are you, brother?
I'm very good, brother. I'm honored to be here with you, talking with you, man. I'm very good, cutting weight, cutting weight. Today is the cutting day, but everything is doing awesome. My cutting is going perfect, so everything good.
I do not miss cutting weight. That is one thing. I mean, listen, you are in great shape. You take your top off, you're ripped, you've got the six pack and everything. But I tell you what, I'm always trying to lose a few pounds, but I do not miss sitting in the sauna and all that stuff. How many pounds have you got to cut?
I think right now I got to cut like 6 pounds, 7 pounds. It's all good.
That's easy. No
it's
problem.
It's all good. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, you're joining us because you got number one, you're undefeated in the UFC, 16-1 overall, 6-fight win streak in the UFC. And this Saturday, the main event, your first main event against Jared Cannonier. So this is a huge fight for you, Caio. How are you feeling leading up to this one?
Man, I feel great about this fight, about this opportunity. I think it's the best opportunity of my life until now, and I think I deserve this opportunity, Michael, because I've been doing a great work inside the octagon, outside the octagon, and I always wanted to face the toughest guy on the division. I think Jared's one of those guys, very experienced guy. So I think a win over here will put my name even higher and even in a discussion for our next title contender or something like that, So very excited about this fight.
Oh, without question. And this is actually a really good card. A lot of people like to talk shit on the Apex cards, but this is a really, really good card, and it's a solid main event. Jared, of course, fought for the belt. As I said before, you've won 6 fights in a row now. So do you see this fight? You beat Jared, then you're right there in title contention?
Yeah, I think so, because there's a lot of contenders on the top 5, There's Strickland, there's Brandon Allen, there's some other guys, so Dricus won and all this. But I think the division needs a new face, a new breed, something like that. And I already called out Dricus like 2 times, and he answered me on the X, on the Twitter. He said that, okay, kid, you go there, get 2 more wins, and then we can talk. I already got 3 more wins after that. After beating Jared, if I beat Jared in an extremely good fashion, like knock him out or finish him, like I don't see any other guy doing this. Although him involved by early stoppers, in my opinion. So he never been finished. I think me in the conversation of the next contender for sure. The mantra of this training camp for me is to show everyone the new champion arrived. So I'm the one.
Yeah. So it's funny that you mentioned Dricus there, because I've seen you've been a little critical of Dricus. You said props to him. I need to congratulate this guy because he has bad technique, bad game plans, a crazy style. And funnily enough, Dana White even said the other day that he fights like a white guy dances.
Exactly. It's crazy. It's a strange style, He's when you see he fighting, he's so bad on the feet, he just close himself and just throw hands walking forward, with no distance control or anything like that. But the thing is, he make it work. He make it works, I don't want people to get me wrong that I'm criticizing him, but because I'm also congratulating him because it make it works, so definitely a fight that I want,
Oh, yeah, without question. We're all here to be a champion. Your team, the Fighting Nerds, is doing phenomenal things. And as I said, 6-0 in the UFC. You beat Jared. I think you're right there. Now, here's why I find you so interesting, Caio, because looking at you now, you're a cool guy. You've got the neck tattoos, you've got the shades on, take the glasses off. Are the nerdy glasses on underneath? Oh, there they
are. Always.
Where's the Band-Aid? Where's the plaster in the middle?
Oh, it's the other one. It's the other one. No, but I cannot see with the other one.
So you wear the glasses because you need the glasses, right?
Yeah. I wear glasses since I was 3 years old.
What about when you're fighting? Because, dude, if I take these things off, I'm blind in one eye. The one eye that I do have doesn't work very well. What about when you're fighting in the octagon? No problem?
No problem, because I have myopia. It's for far away. So when it's close, like in the distance of the ring range, in the octagon range, I can see everything. It's all good.
Okay. Well, you got to get the shades back on. Come on, we need the cool Caio. Now, here's why you're interesting. You're a cool guy. You got the neck tattoos. You're undefeated in the UFC. But you, before being a professional fighter, you were a chemistry teacher and a history teacher. That is not normally the background for the UFC average fighter.
Yeah, I was math teacher and chemistry teacher. Yeah. When I was young, because my grandpa, he was a math teacher, and then there was a day that he needed to go out in the middle of the class, and then he came to me and said, "Oh, do you know how to teach this subject?" I was like, "Oh, I think I can teach this." And then he came to me and said, "Okay, so you're gonna teach these guys that." I was like 15 years old. I was always good with numbers and math and all this stuff. So that's the way I started. That's how I made money when I was like 15 to 16, 17 years old. Then I started to study chemistry, and I fell in love right away on chemistry. I was studying. I was in the first year of the high school, but I was already studying subjects from the second year, the third year, and then I went to college and almost graduated in chemistry school. So I always like it. Right now, I cannot remember that much things. Like I'm 10 years without reading anything about it and something like that. But in my younger age, I used to give class to my guys on the college. And on the school, I lost the count of times that people came to my house to have class with me, So I was like a nerd back in the days.
So the name works perfectly. I just went into my son's bedroom this morning. He's studying to start a course in his master's degree, and he's actually studying now. He's doing advanced algebra. I walked in, I looked at what he was doing. I was like, "Oh my God, what is that?" I'm like, "How's it going, son?" He's like, "Yeah, not good. Look at this." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I've got nothing to offer." So do you find that having, because obviously clearly you're an intelligent guy, and the sport of mixed martial arts it's human chess, right? That's the comparison they always make. Do you find that having, a higher intellect than the average fighter, do you think that helps you in the octagon?
Yeah, definitely. I think the higher IQ and being intelligent on the octagon, it always comes out with being less emotional there, because when you're more like study a guy that will study more the numbers, the data, the patterns that your opponent presents to yourself and all this thing, you can take issues that we have that bother us inside the octagon, sometimes makes us do bad things inside the octagon, do some mistakes, so I think it definitely helps me because my approach of the fight game is more a cerebral approach than an emotional approach, Like, don't get me wrong, for sure there's a lot of emotions, there's adrenaline, there's all that, but I think I can take it off a little bit and put more on like science approach, like human chess, as you said, so I think it definitely helps me.
Yeah, no, you're lucky because I was always over emotional. It took me until 30s to like start using my brain in the octagon. Do you know what I mean? Because I was always just like, let's just fight, But you're absolutely right. Do you know who else was a math teacher in the UFC?
Who?
You don't know?
No, I don't know.
One of the first UFC middleweight champions, Rich Franklin.
Ooh, yeah, I think I heard about it. Yeah, crazy, right?
Yeah.
Imagine this big math teacher. No one would mess with him.
So at school you were you were a good kid. Were you getting into scraps or were you like a nice, controlled young man?
I was a kid full of fear. I was never going to scraps. I was running out of fights in school, on the streets, and all kind of that. And maybe that's what makes me a fighter today, because I wanted to prove myself that I'm not that kid anymore. But I'm thankful for the kid that brought me here. that made who I am right now, made the fighter that I am right now, because when I was young, I was always a kid that couldn't control emotionally. Even when I get to arguments with someone, just like speaking, I like started to cry. I couldn't control myself. When someone like challenged me to fight in the street or something like that, I was like, no, I'm okay. I'm going home, so maybe I grew up with this tip on my mind, with this on my mind. And when I started martial arts, when I started like actually beating people up and all this stuff, I was like, man, I can do this shit. I can overcome my fears. I can do whatever the I want. I can control my emotions. So maybe that's my biggest force when I go in there and fight, and that's why I take all the emotions away and just keep it cerebral things.
That's really interesting. And when did that change for you? Because we hear a lot of fighters and were getting bullied when they were younger, like George St. Pierre is a classic case. I did as well, and that kind of like, fueled my anger when I was a child. I was a different way. But was it when you started martial arts that things started to change for you?
Yeah, I always did judo, but even though I was still the same kid. And then I started jiu-jitsu. Then I started to do good. I started to be confident on my skills. I started to work harder, and then something just changed, when I was like 19, 20 years old, and I started to beat people up in the training, like, of course, respectfully, but like beat people up in the training. And so I was like, oh, I can really do this, I'm good enough to do this and all this thing, And there was a day that I have my coach with me. His name is Wagner Mota. And these things back in the days, it really bothered me for a long time. Even when I was fighting, when I was like 6 or 7 fights, I was still having this anger about the kid that I was, the fearful kid that I was, And then he came to me and said, Caio, come on. I told him my story and all the stuff that I was bothering with that. And he came to me and said, close your eyes. I closed my eyes and he said, you can still see the same kid over there? I said, yeah, I can see. So get close to him. And then I said, okay, I got close to him. And then he said, okay, now we're going to hug him, thank him, and said that you enjoy the times that he been through, that these times make you the man that you are today, the person that you are today that inspires people. So forgive him, so you can release yourself of that shit. And then after that, man, I'm free of this. That's why this tattoo, free spirit, I'm a free spirit now,
Wow, that makes sense, and that's really deep, and that's beautiful of you, coach. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I want you to close your eyes, and in your mind, you can see Jared Cannonier. You're in the octagon. It's Saturday night. You can hear my voice. I'm commentating, so I can't make a prediction. How does this fight go down? And in a perfect world, what happens Saturday night? How do you finish this guy?
Bisping, I'm finishing him with an amazing performance, like a mature performance. That's what I need to show the UFC, a mature performance against a top contender. For sure, I'm looking for the KO or for submitting him. But the perfect way is that I'm going to go there, be on his face all the time, put some jabs on him, get some good defense, and then catch him with a good counter punch. That's the perfect situation. But anything can happen in this level of the game. You know that.
Yeah, no, of course. And so in the perfect world, you get the stoppage, you get on the microphone, and then what is the message to Dricus? Because that's what you've got to do. You've got to send the message to the champ and say, bro, I'm coming. You suck. Your words, not mine.
Exactly. I'm going to say exactly that. Like I'm willing to face the strangest guy in the division, and I'm willing to beat his ass. That's what I'm going to say, because I've been calling out to him 2 times already. So I think the 3rd time the UFC going to hear me after a great picture on Cannonier.
Okay. Well, listen, mate, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it. Best of luck on Saturday. I've loved watching your career. I'll see you at the Apex, and who knows, maybe I'll talk to you in the octagon. Thank you, Caio.
Take care.
All right, and there he is, the one and only Caio Borralho.